Now we're going to learn how to do a Pima arpeggio. So first, the names of the different fingers. The thumb is P, index is I, the middle is M, and the ring is A. So Pima arpeggio just means that we'll be playing E, I, M, A, and repeating. Though this arpeggio might seem very simple, there are a couple of necessary steps to go through before we can properly execute it. Now, what I mean by properly executing this technique is doing it in the way that is going to allow you the maximum amount of accuracy and speed. It's not too difficult to do this with bad technique if you go slow, but if you want to do this, then you've got to have the right technique. Last bit of talking before we get started. If you haven't seen my first video, watch that before continuing on because it's going to lay the foundation for this one. The first step will be to start with your hand, with your fingers on the strings, and bring P to the side of I. Bring the rest of the fingers one at a time into your palm, and when you're done, make a fist. Now you might have noticed that this is kind of a variation on this exercise from the previous video. It's a good idea to juxtapose these two exercises. So go like this. It helps getting the motion down. The next step will be based off of this exercise from the previous video. P is going to play, and I, M, and A are all going to prepare at the same time. P is also going to hit the side of I. Now, I, M, and A are going to play one at a time, going into the direction of your palm. And when A plays, prepare P immediately back on the string that it just played. Now repeat it. Now this last exercise that I just showed you is more like a developmental stage in your playing. It's a good idea to learn an entire etude that uses Pima arpeggios because you just want to spend enough time in this stage. It really will train your hand to do the right things. So we're going to learn an entire etude using this technique that I just showed you. It's not going to sound exactly like it should because the strings are going to be muted when we prepare I, M, and A all at the same time. Remember, this is a developmental stage. This isn't how it's going to sound in the end. Another note, if you don't read music, just pick a chord progression that you know and learn it with a metronome. And do this a bunch. That will ensure that you spend enough time on this developmental stage. From this point on, I'm going to refer to this stage as the planted arpeggio stage because we are planting I, M, and A all at the same time. all the arpeggios that we visit in this video series. One last thing about the planted arpeggio stage. It's the key to making the whole thing work. It's the key to getting rid of the pinky issue that so many people seem to have in the guitar world. You don't want your pinky doing this, or sticking out, going up like this. All of that will slow you down. The last thing to do is to take off the training wheels and do sequential preparation, which looks like this. Notice that instead of planting my fingers all on the strings, I plant them one at a time. The rest go slightly above the string. Sounds different than this. We want this. Now, if you've been following this video, and the last video, switching from the developmental planted arpeggio stage to the sequential stage will be no problem. If you're still having a pinky problem where it's sticking out like that, or doing anything weird, you might be trying to prepare your thumb before A is done playing. So this is something I've seen in my students that seems to cause the pinky problem. For a sequential preparation, remember, as one finger plays, the next finger prepares to play. That's all the content for this video. My next video, I'm going to cover an arpeggio that goes down as well as upwards. Thanks for watching.